Welcome to the Technology Training Center's video newsletter recordings. My name is Kevin Moffat, and I'm going to take you through some tips and tricks in selecting text in Microsoft Word. Now, I'm going to start off with a blank document, and to add some text in here so I can show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to go put in the equal sign, and with no spaces whatsoever, type in RAND, Shift 9 to open parentheses, and then I want a few paragraphs here, so I'm going to put in the number 8, comma, and that's going to be how many paragraphs it generates. And then I want about 6 sentences per paragraph. Shift 0 to close the parentheses, and without any spaces, press Enter, and it's going to generate all that text for me. I'm going to go Control Home, which is a way of navigating to the top of my document when I'm down at the bottom. And let's go through some of the different ways we can select content. Now, if you've ever been selecting text, and the only way you do it is hold down the mouse and drag, you'll notice that when it gets to the bottom of the page, it picks up speed and usually goes way beyond where you want. And then when you scroll back up to the top, it zooms way past where you might have even started. So let me show you some ways you can select text much more efficiently. First one is to select a single word. So to select that word, all you have to do is double click on that word, and it selects that entire word. Much better than trying to click and drag, which often selects a word beside it. So go ahead and try that a couple times. Double click on a word, double click on another one, and what you'll notice is each time it does it, it selects just the word. I'm showing this in Microsoft Word, but this works in most programs. So when you double click on something, it's going to go and select that entire word for it. If I want this entire paragraph selected, I can triple click, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to select that entire paragraph for me. Now I'm using Word 2010, but this works in all the different versions of Microsoft Office. So double click on a word, selects the word. Triple click on a paragraph, anywhere in that paragraph, selects that entire paragraph for you. If I want to select a sentence, really important that I have nothing else selected at the current time, and what I do is I hold down the Control key and click on that sentence, and it highlights that entire sentence for me. So if I want this sentence selected so I can make it bold, I could cut it or copy it or just retype it because I don't like the way it sounds, I hold down the Control key in the bottom left-hand corner of my keyboard, click on that sentence, making sure nothing else is selected first. And that way it selects that entire sentence for me. I can now apply a bold to that to make it stand out. I could change the color of it if I want to, whatever I want to apply the formatting. When I want another sentence selected, I take off the original formatting or selection that I had, hold down the Control key and click on the next one that I want to select, and it selects that entire sentence for me. Another way of selecting text is to place your cursor where you want to start the selection. And if I want from here all the way down to the end of the document, so I want all the rest of the content in this document selected, I can hold down the Control key, hold down the Shift key, and press the End key, E-N-D. And when I do that, it selects everything from where my cursor was to the end of the document. I'll show that again. I'll place my cursor, I hold down the Control key, the Shift key, and the End key, E-N-D, and it highlights from there all the way down to the bottom of the document. I can go in the opposite direction as well. I can place my cursor, and if I want from here all the way to the top of my document, Control Shift Home, and it moves all the way up to the top of my document. This also works in Excel. So in Excel, if I'm at a location I want from here to the top of the document, Control Shift Home will select everything in that range. If I'm at a location I want to select from there down, Control Shift End, E-N-D again, selects from there to the last active cell in Excel. So instead of you having to know which cell to go to, this goes to the last active cell for you. Another nice tip I have is the ability to select everything that you're seeing on the screen. So if I want everything in the screen, not everything in the document, but everything in the screen. This one has a few more keystrokes involved. So you hold down the Alt key, you hold down the Control key, you hold down the Shift key, and you press Page Down, and it selects the content that we're seeing on the screen from the start of our cursor down to the end of it. So this is a quick way of going in and saying from this point down to the bottom of what I can see on my screen, select that all. So if I'm in here and I want from here down to the bottom of what I'm seeing on my screen, Alt key, Control key, Shift key, and Page Down, from that point to the rest of what you can see on your screen gets selected. If you use Page Up, from that point to the text that you can see at the top of your screen. So from wherever your cursor is, up or down in the screen, it's going to select all the visible text in there. If you want to have a quick keyboard way of selecting entire paragraphs, if you hold down the Control key and the Shift key, and then there's 4 arrow cursor keys. Arrow left or right when you have this will do entire words. Arrows up or down does entire paragraphs. I use this a lot with my laptop. And so, for example, if I place my cursor there and I want the next 3 paragraphs, hold down the Control key, hold down the Shift key, and arrow down 3 times, once, twice, 3 times, and I've just selected those 3 paragraphs much faster than I can do with my mouse. So it's a nice way, especially if you're using a laptop where you don't want to use your cursor, hold down that little thing and scroll. Control, Shift, and arrow down is a very easy way of accomplishing that goal. The final one I'm going to show you is a very common one. This works in almost every program. When you want to select everything, whether it be in a text box or everything on a document or anything in a spreadsheet, hold down your Control key and press A. So Control A is a select all. If I'm in Excel and I go Control A, it doesn't select just the content, it selects everything. If I was in Publisher in a text box, Control A would select everything in that text box. So it's a quick way of having everything selected. If I wanted to universally make my font a larger font or a different font size, I actually prefer doing this using styles, but if you're not someone who likes styles, this is a way to go in, select everything, and have everything within your document change. I hope you found these tips useful. Keep coming back. Each month we'll be adding more of these in here.